I need to steal a video idea from Timo before he gets it up later in the week. And we need to talk about my personal take on Infinity Chasers. Should you pick up the set? What should you guys have on the set? Blah, 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 blah. The usual semantics. If you guys want a metagame discussion on Friday on my personal opinions on the 3 decks in the set, please show us some love by liking this video, and we will get that discussion up. So, without further ado, I do believe, indubitably, that we should talk about, should you buy Infinity Chasers? Shall we? By the way, we're not actually stealing the video idea, we're just paying homage to Timo for coming up with this. So, Infinity Chasers is right around the corner. Everybody and their mother is probably like, oh boy, should I spend my money on the set? So, my first golden rule is, if you want to pick up a box, something, look at your OTS prices, see what they are selling the product for before you storm on over to Walmart and buy packs, or Meijer, or Target, or things like that. You need to support your OTS store, and I can't say this enough, alright? You go there, you play with your locals. They have cost of overhead as well. If you at least do that much, if you want to buy product, then please support them. Now, I always hear countless stories. It's like, oh my god, like, I don't want to support my locals. They're scumbags. That's your opinion. You do what you need to do. I don't know why you're still going there if you think they're terrible people. That part doesn't make sense to me. It's just, in my opinion, as of this point in time, show some support to the stores. Now, golden rule number 2 for this video. I am not a super big fan of approaching sealed product. But in a set like this, depending on what short prints are and things like that, we will have to approach this with an utmost of concern, because honestly, you know, if those Cerberuses are really $5 on pre-sale, then maybe it's kind of worth it to buy some sealed product. You know what I mean? Like, when I love that about Ash Blossom. Like, this set doesn't have an Ash Blossom in it, but I do know that people were literally like, oh my god, like, I need to just buy the set, like, so much here. But, okay. Point 3. I don't think the set as a whole is absolutely worth smashing boxes open, but buy some packs to support your OTS. Now, the core fundamentals of this set that you need to be looking at to have, you are going to want to pick up some Mystical Beast Cerberus. So, I was really, really harsh on the Indonesian Deck, and I actually started to see this deck pop up in the OCG. Now, this might not be the most competitive thing in the world, but, you know, let's call it what it is. You're going to want to test the deck to some degree. And if you've already got the Mystical Beast Cerberus engine because you had Pendulum Magicians, then, you know, hey, we did it. But for the most part, yeah, grab, if you don't have your Cerberus, or the little guys, grab them. Like, you have no reason not to have these cheaper cards available. I mean, I'll be honest with you. The reprints in this set aren't looking too particularly spicy. Like, you got bad cards like Magic Cylinder, that didn't need a reprint, Wonder Wand. Astral Force was a rather interesting one. Same thing with Arcanite Magician, but as for core cards that I myself want to focus on, it's definitely going to be the Mystical Cerberus. Now, the infinite trackers of this set, I honestly, how consistent does a machine-based archetype have to be for you to want to pick these up? Now, I do know a lot of people are automatically going to look at this who are huge fans of the machine archetype in general, and they're going to be like, oh man, Earth Machine monster support, and it also works with rank up magics and stuff like that. It's going to be an auto sell for somebody. Do I think, well, my golden rule is if you can pick up anything cheap, you should probably approach it. And I also like to approach these sets on day one and be like, all right, if I want something, you buy it. And looking at the Infinity archetype, I almost want to say that this archetype is going to be a bust. I'm going to cover this more in my metagame discussion as to why I personally think that these are going to be a flop later. But in terms of the marketing aspect of this, of the 3 archetypes, this is going to be the absolute cheapest. Because when every core set comes out, you look at them, you're like, oh, well, you know what the good cards are going to be. And you can just tell that this archetype is, of course, the worst of the 3. So it's not worth it wanting to spend, $100 on this part of the set, because it's like, yeah, sure, Earth Machine support, fucking whoop-de-doo, but it's like, it's not competitive at the least. It's cool support for like trains and things like that, but like at the end of the day, I just see neg money coming out. Like, if you can put together the archetype on little to no money off of what people don't want, then sure, approach it that way. But we're here for the money aspect, and it's not in the Earth Machine archetype. Oh, no siree. Hell no, it's not in that side of the archetype for that set. Now, the money cards are all... This is actually the interesting part of this set. I actually think the money cards are going to be in the Witchcraft part of the set. And why do you think that, Robbie? Well, the OCG, we saw the Rhoda card, the Fantastic Spell card. They were pretty high, and I saw pre-sales of them actually sold out from Ideal and Core on, oh god, they sold out within like 5 minutes. They went up at $15, just straight gone. They were out the door. They're back at 25 as of yesterday before making this video, and I was like, oh man, like, the Witchcraft archetype is going to be crazy. Now, you know how the waifu community is. You know how Yu-Gi-Oh! Players are with this waifu game. People love archetypes. People love cute shit. Alright, like, the whole concept of beautiful women, witches coming together, like, they sold themselves on the anime community. They did good in terms of the design for that. Like, people are going to pick up the archetype strictly on the art. And you know what that means? The rest of us that want to play the deck for fun are going to have to pay the waifu tax, which is just going to be absurd prices as it is. I hate to say that, but that is how this works. And inherently, they're going to short print some card in the Witchcraft archetype. It's probably going to be the Rhoda, as much as it actually pains me to say that. Now, should you pick up Witchcraft? I'm going to say this. I think this deck has a lot of potential. And that means you can play the dice game where you can wait to pick up the stuff now, or you can wait. I do think at this moment that this archetype has a lot of potential, and it could do well at a regional level for a top 32. Not for a top 8, but if this is for your casual aspect and things like that, understand your budget, put aside $100, you can probably get a good global playset of everything you need for about $120, I would think, on the secondary market, but I wouldn't approach it any more than that. And then the super competitive one is actually going to be Evil Eye. Now, I am very, very harsh on this deck right now. I think this deck needs Manhunt to be really good. And this is something that I do want to point out about all 3 of these archetypes. I don't think that there's going to be any crazy spikes amongst these cards yet. If you want to play the waiting game on this set before picking up anything right away, then this might be the set to do it. Now, this is my warning from me to you guys. Do not wait too long to pick up Evil Eye. And the reason I say that is because once Manhunt comes out, the whole concept of the deck, they get a very powerful card that they can use to better their matchups. And I'm putting a lot of faith in that card, really, to kind of push this deck. But when I look at the fundamental structuring of the deck, I really, really, really think that the deck has a lot of potential. I think the deck can top 8 a regional, actually. But I don't think we're going to really see that until post-Manhunt kind of comes out. I guarantee you, as soon as we see one regional top, though, card prices are going to spike through the absolute roof. So you're kind of going to play yourself if you want to play that waiting game, at least for that archetype. I do kind of think that if, actually it's going to be the same thing for Witchcraft. If Witchcraft do anything on a regional level, they're going to spike up. You know, I always kind of do follow the theory of day one, kind of scout prices, see if it's within your budget. You know, should you get these? Do you personally think it's worth it? I can't answer that question for you guys. I get asked that question all the time, Robbie, is it worth it to buy it at this price? And it's like, I don't know your budget, man. Like, I think 100, 120 for the Witchcraft archetype is fine. I think Evil Eye, you should be able to get what you want for 100. I know it's wishful thinking, but like, those are kind of my price structures. Like, you have to understand your own budget for these questions. But if you want to play the waiting game, I think that this might be the set to do it. I don't see any crazy spikes, but you know, the market doesn't always follow the set algorithm. You know, the market doesn't always follow these trends that are what we know. You know, something crazy could happen, and we could see a spike in both Witchcraft and Evil Eye. Not in the machine archetype, though. That'll stay in the corner. If you want to pick that one up, you can wait a little while. That one will be nice and cheap for you later. So, should you pick up the Infinity Chaser set, buy packs to support your locals. Help them pay for their overhead so you have a place to play. If you were looking at Evil Eye, try to go 100, 120. Same thing with Witchcraft. See if you can try to get the archetype in that window. I think those are viable prices if you're approaching singles. If you're paying more than that for the machine archetype, I don't know what you're doing with your life. So please, comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. Do you agree with me? I know these videos might not be for the budget players because of the price range, and I understand that. But, you know, saving is not hard. It's just living the lifestyle while you're saving. That's the hard part. The ride never ends. Peace out, guys. The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a truffle shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out Vanquil40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.